Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Welcome. Rabbi Isai, it's time to call up your friends. See where they are, how they're doing. The middle of Maruba, a shtickle status, a little WhatsApp. I know we're in the middle of a Masechta, but it doesn't hurt. We got to get the oilam back into it. What? They're all, I know, but not everyone. There are those who are not. So for that one or two people, it's kedai. That all of you should make your phone calls. Seriously, call them out. Where are they? How are they doing? Maybe they're here, but they need a little chizuk. They need a little rebelli. I would have. This actually was emotional to me. Listen to this, huh? You could do it now, of course. Now is the perfect time to do it. Are you going to listen to the email? But I'm reading this for myself. I would have never envisioned myself sending an email, as I'm just not that guy. However, like Rabbi always says, sometimes you need to go out of your comfort zone, even if it may inspire one other person. It inspired me. Inspired by our good friend Abba Renner, another time Abba Renner, here twice in 1 week, was started out in the beginning of Chagiga as I'll give it a shot, turned into a new chapter in my life, Started with the daf, added Shnai Mikra, then added Halacha, and of course some Chavis Halvavas to top it off. The consistency that comes from MDY is the fuel behind it all. Picture below is what packing for vacation looks like the MDY way. All the best, Eli Greenberg. It's unbelievable. We'll start out, give it a shot. Says now I have to schlep 2 extra suitcases of Svarim. It's unbelievable. Hi, Rabbi. I really appreciate your Daf Yomi share in English as well as the Hebrew one. As I told you once before, I've been hooked on your share since Bava Daf Beis. I realize that it takes so much work to produce these shiurim, the graphics and animation slides, displaying the corresponding text, being learned above the video display, above all your sense of humor. The clear and straightforward explanations of each piece of Gemara, how seemingly difficult concepts can be understood in such a simple manner. It's been years since I've listened to a shir on the daf that was so clear. When listening to the Hebrew shir, it's a little bit more difficult for me to follow along. There's no display of the text in the video because I'm wheelchair bound, he says. Attached to the video recording my screen as to what I do when listening to lecture in Hebrew in order to have access to the text on the daf. Good night or good morning, depending on where you are. While virtually learning, I have a picture of him. To you every day, I feel close to you in spite of living so far away. Keep on inspiring us to grow until we give the Satan its final blow, when the light of Mashiach will finally glow. Nachamal. Keep on inspiring us to grow until we give the Satan his final blow, when the light of Mashiach will finally glow. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart for giving me the opportunity to taste the sweetness of the Gemara on a daily and consistent basis. May Hashem shower you with Moshe Tzloch and Siyad Shmai Yechil Shine. Or shown. Here he is, Rabbi Isai. And this is his screen. If you take a second, you might see it starts to move. Here we go. Oh, he put his own Gemara on the bottom. What he's trying to say is that there's a big tzaddik out there. I don't even know who he is, I don't think. That every single day he gets the video and he adds the text of the Gemara to the top. He's saying that on Hebrew we don't have it. You know what? Hebrew just goes out immediately. There's no editing. There's no... It works hard, but it comes out right after this year. There's no like post-editing that we could add stuff. Eventually, Be'ezer Hashem. The sponsor for the Koilol, anonymous from Lakewood, Refuah Tinoik Ben Malka. The Masechta for the unity of Am Yisrael. The Paras HaChodesh, there are only 7 of them, Baruch Hashem, for the unity of Am Yisrael. Paras HaChodesh, sorry, that was the Masechta. Paras HaChodesh, Yosef and Chaya, Sara, for all the zchusim that come from supporting limud HaTorah. Paras HaChodesh, lezchut, zivug hagam bקרוב, Chanarocha bas Micha, Chayim ben Shulamis, ושושנה ברכה bas Shulamis, Amen. Paras HaChodesh, Rav Noam, Avi, Gary, and Yosef, for your relentless commitment to MDY, Shalom Aleichem, all the guys on Zoom. How many guys are on Zoom? 50-ish. Give up more than the Beis Medrash, unfortunately. Usually Beis Medrash has a little bit more than today. But it's a Sunday in the middle of Maruba. We got to get them back. We're done with Klal Prato Klal. Rabbi Isai. Lineage Chaya ben Moshe, lineage Chaya bas Yosef. Paras HaChodesh Ahron Fraiman, it should be zchus for rebellion. To rebellion, to continue Siyat Shmai, teaching Torah, Klal Yisroel, Amen, Shkoyach. Paras HaChodesh, lineage Kol Chayei Tzahal, Shenaflu al Kiddush Hashem. Parnas HaChodesh, in memory of Binyomin Airley, from anonymous in Manchester, who joined the shir at the beginning of Saita. Parnas HaYoim. Here he is. Robert's here. Shkoyach, thanks. He's back. Stronger than ever. You know who this anonymous guy is from Manchester? You have no idea. You have a lot of people that love you. Very generous. $12,700. Parnas HaYoim, Chazan David Elkins for the elevation of the Neshama Simcha ben Zalman Moshe Halevi. The Parnas of the art, anonymous for the zchus, for an easy childbirth, for his daughter and a healthy baby. MDY wishes a tremendous mazel tov to our very dear friend. We actually spoke about him last night in the Hebrew shir. I think it was the Hebrew shir. Reb Michael Ben Shitrit, the guy behind everything in Miami, he's making a chasana tonight. So mazel tov. All right, Rabbi say, here we go. We're holding Daf Samach Vav Amud Aleph. So to remind the Olam, we had the famous Rav who dropped a statement. We're trying to figure out exactly where and how. What does he mean? Is he completely serious about everything he said? Rav says, Keren, the principle when you steal something, Kain Shiganav. It goes by the time of the Gneva. Tashlume Arba Chamishon Kefel, that is Kishas Hamad B'Din. So if there's more, seems like there's more value right now to the animal, you have to pay 4 times the amount of the value now. We went back and forth, it went down in value, went up in value. So we're holding 4 lines down, Samach Vav Amud Aleph. And then we had a machloikis in this case. Tle v'nasa ayil, ego v'nasa shor. He stole it when it was a baby, and the animal grew to be a much different type of animal, larger, different, has horns. Are you kind of b'shinoi or not? Now today we're going to discuss a lot about shinoi, different kinyanim, that the ganav acquires it halachically, not that he doesn't have to pay. Obviously, he has to pay for what he stole, but it becomes his for certain things, like you don't have to pay dal v'chamisha, etc. We had machlokes. Does it become his or not? So it says the Gemara, the machlokes between Rabbi Eloi and Rabbi Chanina, Ela Damar Sava Shini Koino, Mar Sava Shini Koino, whether or not he acquires and it's kind of this animal because the animal changed completely. That we agree, and we'll see in a second, that if a person steals wood and he makes a chair out of it, he acquires the wood. It becomes, he doesn't have to return, in other words, he doesn't have to return the chair to the original owner. He has to pay for the wood. So over here also, the question was, does he acquire this animal or not? But one thing is clear, whether he's going to pay the kefil or the dal v'hei, depending on who. Okay, even if you hold that you don't have to pay dal v'hei because it becomes yours, but you have to pay kefil. Now, at what price do you pay the kefil? As the baby or as the adult? So kula alma, everybody agrees, you pay like it was worth when you stole it. How do I know this? The Ktani, it says so Nachamol, if we go back to Rav says Kishas Hamad B'Din, Arba Chamisha, like in the red all the way in the bottom, Kishas Hamad B'Din. And now we're saying Kein Shiganav. That's a contradiction. Let me tell it to you to the Rav. That should be a Bam Kasha on Rav. Doma Rav, Karen Kein Shiganav Mishalim. Tashlumi Kefa, Tashlumi Arba Chamisha, Kishas Hamad B'Din. It should be, Rav says that when it comes to payment of kefil and arba chamisha, like today, like when you go to court, whatever court says, that we value it as the larger animal. And over here, and everybody agrees in this case of tle, we go by the lesser amount, by when it was a baby. So now Rava limits Rav even more. And that is, that if you're going to pay what you stole exactly in the same item. So if a person stole a sheep, a lamb, a baby sheep, and he wants to pay 4 or 5 times that, and he pays it in sheep, so he can pay it exactly like what he stole. So if he stole a baby lamb, he'll return 4 baby lambs. That's not a problem. Rav said that we go like Hamad B'Din when he's going to pay with cash. If he's going to pay with cash or with bicycles or something else that's not a lamb, then he has to pay with the value that is today, which is a much larger ram, not a lamb. Yeah, Nachamol. If he's paying, so we're making a distinction here. If he's paying with the same item, he's going to pay with cows. So he's going to pay with calves. He's going to pay with 4 calves because that's what he stole. He stole a baby cow. He's going to pay 4 baby cows, 4 calves. How much are 4 calves? Instead of today, a cow's worth $2,000. He's going to pay $100 times 4, $400 worth of calves. He's not paying cash. He's paying 4 baby cows. Here, take it. If that guy wants to sell those 4 baby cows, he's gonna come up with $400. But if he wants to pay in cash, says Rav, you have to pay like today. Today it's $2,000 a pop. You have to pay $8,000. You hear? He's gonna pay $8,000 versus $400. So that everybody says that it's Kain Shiganav is talking about that they paid with the actual item that he stole. And this that Rav says that you pay Kishas Amud Beis is when he doesn't have that. He I don't know what. I mean, he would be smart to take the $8,000, go to the store and buy four little, but it's not available. I don't know what. They ran out of cows. So he's gonna have to pay in cash like the value that it is today, 4 times the value today.
He fed the cow. So it cost him a lot to feed the cow.
Yeah.
So it's part of his money to get it.
Yeah, but where he's paying babies now. Now he's paying the small guy. Maybe what you mean to ask is that I'm not sure what you mean to ask. I mean, he's basically, maybe you're asking that we learned before that as the animal grows, it's your growth. It's not the person that you stole from. If it's chusha v'shmina, if it was a smaller animal, it got larger, so the guy says, listen, I'm the one that made it larger. So you're asking why should you have to pay the larger amount? Maybe that's what you're asking. What? Oh, that's what he's asking. Yeah. I hear. It's a good kasha.
He's got the benefit of the milk.
Huh?
He's got the benefit of the milk. He's putting money in, but he gets money out as well.
Why? Because he milks it? And if he didn't, then if this, okay, not enough. Who?
You're selling it for.
What about a 1 day old? 1 day old is not worth much. No, 1 day old is worth literally. I'm not joking. The price is $100 to $150 a day old. Okay, Omer Rabbo. Zog Rabbo. Shinui koina. When I make a change in the item that I steal, then it becomes mine to the point that I don't have to give back what it is today. I stole wood and I made it into a table. I made it into a chair. I don't have to give back the chair. I have to give back the value of the wood that I stole. It becomes yours. So Rabba holds Ksivo Tanina. It's in the pasuk and it's a mishnah. Ksivo, where do I see it in the? Now there's those who argue, but he holds it's in the pasuk. Ksivo ve'hishav hagzela asher goza. You shall return that which you stole. Asher gazal, which you stole. But asher gazal is extra. You should return the thing you stole. That's it. What's asher gazal? Extra words. Matam aloy asher gazal. Im kein shegazal yachzir. It's coming to tell us, return what you stole if it's the same item that you stole. But if it changed into something else, you changed it. Then you just pay money. Tanina, and we also learned in the Mishnah, like this pasuk. So we have a right from the pasuk. It says, but I also have at least one Mishnah, 2 Mishnayos. Famous Perik, Hagoy. A person steals wood and he made a vessel out of it. Tzemer, he stole wool, vasom gadim, he made clothing. Mishalim shasak zela, he only pays what it was worth when he stole a bundle of wool. He doesn't have to give the clothing that he fashioned from the wool. Okay, so that's one raya, that he was kind of a shinoi. Shinoi, the change, made it his. The beged became his. Huh? Shvach I don't know, we're not holding it. When we get there, please. Inami. Loi hispik loi. Another Mishnah. So the halach is this, that when you have a sheep, the first shearings, you give to the kohen. it's the same shear like truma. How much do you give truma? How much are you mechuyev to give truma midaraisa? A mashu, one kernel. Over here also you give one here or something to the kohen. But we're makbid 1/60th, a really generous person 1/50th, even more 1/40th. So here's a guy mamish trying to be mekayim the mitzvah. It looks like he knocked out the sheep nebuch. This guy looks incapacitated. What? He what? He's Yisrael shearing the wool off the sheep. He's about to give it to the kohen. So it's a mitzvah to give the wool to the kohen. But what happens if he takes this wool and he dyes it? He dyes a different color. Now he dyes it black, blue. So the halacha is patur. Typically speaking, when you have a matana to give to the kohen, any kohen can come and grab it. You can grab from the kohen. That's the famous sugya takfa kohen. Grab from the kohen. Why? Because it's not the Yisrael's. It belongs to the kohanim, and the Yisrael has the right to decide which kohen to give it to, but it belongs to the shevet kohanim. Over here, once you dye it, there's no kohen that can come and grab it. You could say it's not yours; it's the other guy's. He's not potter. It doesn't absolve him from the mitzvah of giving. But there's not a kohen in the world that could say it's mine. Alma, says the Gemara, Shinu koina. You see from here that the fact is, since he dyed it and he changed the color of the wool, he acquired it. It became the Yisrael's. The kohen can't take it any longer. Fine. So that's that sugya. The Shinui koina. Yush. What about yush? Yush is when a person gives up completely. He says to himself, I'm not going to be able to get this. That's it. Vaili l'chasarim kiss. What an unfortunate situation happened to me. I lost this money. Stolen, yes, or lost or stolen. Depends what it is. I don't know where it is. Yush. Am Rabbanon denikni. So Rabbanon say that he acquires it. The question is the rights of the Rabbanon. I heard this from two Rebbes, no longer with us, that the reason why Yush, your kaina, the gan of his kaina, is because the owner gave up. The fact that you gave up because you're miyahish, that's why it's like a penalty. Don't ever give up. You're not supposed to give up. So, yeah, that's another thing. We don't know either Rais either Rabbanon. I don't know if this Yush, and that's what we're going to be dealing with. When a person gives up and he says, "I'm not going to find this anymore. That's it. It's done. It fell into the ocean." Yeah, a guy's he's on a small plane and he wants to take a video with his phone. He goes like this and it falls out of his hand. He's on the spot. He's miyayish. There's no way he's ever going to find that cell phone, right? He's over the desert. Where is he going to find it? Miyayish, finished. Comes somebody and finds it. It's his. So what about a ganav? Either raisa midi. So what's the suffix here? Either raisa. There's a tzad to say that the raisa becomes yours just by the guy giving it up. Midi dehava moitza aveda, like a person who finds a lost item. Moitza aveda lav kivin the miyayish moramino mikamei the taste liyode konilei. Oh, we have a guy. Here it is. There's a guy that he realizes that he lost his money, lost something. So since he's miyayish, before you found it, konilei, the finder keeper, since he found it and the owner already gave up hope of ever finding it, so halachically it's yours. Honami kivin the miyayish mara konilei. So now here the ganav, he stole this item and the owner gave up, so it became yours. I'm a kani. Now what's the other tzad? What's the tzad to be machali and say no, it's very different? Oh. When you find an item that somebody gave up hope on it, there was no isser. You took it beheter. Since you're a ganav, you stole it, and only after you stole it, the owner gave up. So first of all, I want to go back here for a second. A guy who lost an item lost an item, gives up. So midaraisa, it's yours. So I have to play this video. I said this in Maisa, but here it is on video. Murdik video.
Imagine buying a desk under $200 on Craigslist, only to find thousands of dollars hidden inside. That's exactly what happened to a New Haven couple. A local rabbi and his wife found a huge pile of cash after buying this desk on Craigslist. When the couple brought the desk home, it wouldn't fit through the door.
The desk didn't fit into this office by a fraction of an inch.
The couple had to pull the desk apart, including the file cabinets. Behind the drawers, they discovered a plastic bag filled with cash.
Behind the drawers, there's this plastic bag, like a shopping bag I'm talking about. And in that bag, I could already see through the bag, it looks like a $100 bill.
After a closer look,
we open it up and it's full of cash. We count it up and there's $98,000 cash sitting in the bag.
the couple couldn't believe their eyes.
Right away, my wife and I sort of, looked at each other and we said, we can't keep this money.
They picked up the phone and called the original owner.
I saw there's a bag back there, and through the bag,
That's
I
actual
sort of
call.
saw like one $100 bill, and I'm like, oh my gosh,
think
there's
the owner
money.
knew
And I
about
picked
it.
it up, I'm like, this is
She
pretty
also
heavy.
bought the desk for
And then we
$100.
brought it over to the table and just sort of counted it up, and we're like, oh my gosh. So, yeah.
The kids, long story short, she gave them $3,500. She gave them, and she gave them the desk for free. So the shaila is lahalacha. Does he have to return it or not?
No, he lives in Arizona today.
You know,
Yeah, I ate at his house Friday night. Arizona Shabbos.
Lemaisi did lahalacha. If there's a tremendous kiddush Hashem, which then you can give it back. Otherwise, it's a shaila lahalacha. I ask your local rabbi. I'm sure he asked his local rabbi, and you already got your one question. His bar mitzvah's over. The day of his bar mitzvah, we gave him two. We gave him a gift. Ever since his bar mitzvah, he's been mamish. Unbelievable. He's a gadol now. Okay, so that's number one. The halacha is Rabbi Isai, and I think I said this Maisa, maybe I'm going to botch it now, but basically I said it recently, that a guy lost money in Letterman Shul, and he went back to Letterman to see if his money's there, and he sees a sign on the wall. He says, if anybody lost 500 shekel, please call this number. He calls up the number. He says, I'm the one that lost the 500 shekels. He says, yeah, so halacha, I don't have to give it back to you. Because that's true, that if you lose money, you're miyash right away. So then why do you put up a sign? What's the answer? I wanted to thank you. I wanted to thank you for the money. I wanted to thank you. Okay, that's the. Huh? Zimish says you have to have akras hatoiv. So I'm calling to tell you. Ani makir teve. Ani makir teve. Ishkoyach.
Next time you lose something,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Okay. The same guy, when he saw somebody that was born with a backwards head, he lifted up the guy in the street and made a bracha. And he put him down. He said, okay, kids, there's different types of people out there. Okay. Now, it says like this in the Gemara. That maybe midrabanan we said we'll do the guy a favor. We'll let him be kainet b'shinui. Why? Because the guy wants to do tshuva. Eventually, the guy is going to say, you know what? I was a bad guy. I got to do tshuva. I got to give stuff back. They're going to say, oh, you have to give stuff back. So now you have to take apart your wall and to take all the beams out of the wall and give them back. All the 2x4s that you stole. What about the tiles in your bathroom? You have to start uprooting them. So Mela, we said, Takanas Hashavim, make it easier. Just pay the cash. And this reminds me of Rav Nachman Seltzer's, I think it's the bestseller, one of the best-selling Jewish books of all time. Incredible. Yeah? Besides the next one that just
Incredible. This is from the second volume.
second volume.
It's still good, but the first
And then the first one. So it says in the second volume, Chelik Beis, incredible Beis, Ein Sham. No, it inspired me a lot. And Rav Nachman himself told me that he was hesitant to put this in the book because, in the one way, it makes Rabbi Yossi Wallace look a little interesting. But I said, no, Adarabah, gives chizuk to people. It says like this, that when he became about tshuva, he decided to he stole a lot of stuff when he was younger, and he compiled a list. He went through in his mind. He went through all the stories, from small things like he was in a bar and he stole some glasses from the bar. He had to find the bar, and he gave back the glasses. But one of the big ones was that he was driving by a place, and the guy was resurfacing his backyard to put in a basketball court, and he liked the tiles that he saw. It was on just sitting out there on the street. So he decided to take a bunch of tiles. So he comes back, he tried to find this guy, and he couldn't find him. He went to the city, and then the whole Maisa, until he got a hold of the person. That's the godless of the story, that he worked really hard to find these guys. And he finds the guy, and he says, I want to pay you back for 10 tiles. The guy says, you're the jerk that did it. You know what you did to me? Because of those 10 tiles, we couldn't service the thing. We had to buy a whole other pallet until it came. You messed us up. At the end of the day, the guy said, he called his family in. He said, look at this guy. He wants to do tshuva. He explained to him, I became religious, and I wanted a whole thing. He was walking by things that, the reason I'm saying is because a lot of us were over once upon a time or something, this, that. And you could still do tshuva. He's walking by an orchard and he was hungry, so he took 2 oranges. He was hungry. He had to remember which one it was, and he had to find the owner and say, here's money for the 2 oranges I stole. More? There's a lot more. But here, one thing that I think is negiyah to frum people in business. When you have a business partner, you go on a business trip, especially in America, you go to a hotel, you go to a restaurant. Maybe that's not the restaurant that he was referring to. Maybe not the top restaurant in New York City. Maybe he meant pizza. And maybe you don't have to stay every single night in the Waldorf or whatever it is. These are things that if you would ask your partner, he'd say no. So Lamaisa, you're stealing over here. And these are things in the book. He went back to his partner and said, listen, I might have taken from you. I might have a little bit over here, a little bit over there. So it's never too late to do tshuva. It's very embarrassing, very embarrassing. Say, listen, but it says tzarich lo yediyah. I don't know what the halach is. Like sometimes you have to notify. You can just drop a check in a guy's lap and run. Say, listen, I took. Here it is. It's back. Fine. Chachamim had. They felt bad for the guy that wants to do tshuva, and they said, well, we're going to make it easier for you. Rav Yosef argues. Yiyush ain't koyin afilim d'Rabbanan. Not true. Yiyush, you don't acquire something even with the Rabbanan just because the guy gave up on it. Eisvi Rav Yosef l'Rabba. You Rabba say that you're kind of just with the Yiyush. So okay, we have a few questions here, back and forth. On each one there's a question. A person steals pizza and then Pesach comes along. Now, once Pesach comes along, the pizza is worthless. The halacha is, Amud Beis, take your pizza, the worthless pizza, here it is. Why? Because there's no hezek nicker here. It's not visible, the Pesach, it doesn't say Pesach on the pizza. I stole a pizza, I'm giving back a pizza. Ask the Gemara of once Pesach comes around, maybe a few minutes before Pesach even, the owner of the pizza is miyash, he gives up and he's mafkir, he says, I don't want it anymore. If Yush, the guy, the Ganav, acquires the pizza, how could he give him back a pizza that's not even the original owner's? It's the Ganav's now. Now it's your pizza. Now you're stuck with something that's worthless, and you should be paying cash. He says, very good. Typically, when you're a ganav and you want the item, so if the original owner gives up, so then you acquire that item. But in this case, he's a Talmud Chacham ganav. He's a frum ganav. No, frum ganav wants chametz, so he doesn't want. He's bedafka not acquiring it. Yeah, the owner was mafkir, but you yourself, you don't want to be kind of that. Okay, again, Rabbi is the one that says that Yirush alone, just giving up, you're kind. He says, "Korbanoi v'lei hagazel." I have the pasuk over here. one of the first psukim in Vayikra. What does karbonoi mean? Your carbon. Carbon. What's carbon? Why is it your carbon? So he says, you cannot bring a carbon that's stolen. What's the case? If we're talking about that the original owner didn't give up yet, it's not yours, it's the original owner's, you never acquired it, so of course he can't bring that as a carbon. We're talking about after he gave up, even after he gave up on this item, on this animal, you can't bring this as a carbon. What do you see from here? You rather say that giving up, it becomes yours. Over here you see giving up doesn't become yours. So we have to see exactly why it's not what you're going to bring something guzzle. Okay, the Gemara understands it's not because of the moskite of it that's disgusting. Rather, it's not yours. It's the same word, right? Almost the same idea. Here, karbonai, it says karbonai, and in this pasuk it says mishkavai. Mishkavai means your bed. Now we're talking about a zav. Let's go back over here. Sorry, Yosef, driving me crazy. Here, this is zav. A zav is somebody that has a tumah, that something emanated from his body because of a disease. So he himself becomes avatuma. Everything he sits on, every bed he sits on, becomes the same tummy as him, the same level of tumah. It usually tumah drops a level, or a special chiddush because he's sitting on it. He becomes the bed becomes avatuma, and all his things become avatuma. Everything he's wearing. The point is that there's a major chiddush here. It has to be his bed. What if he stole a bed? According to Rashi, it's a peladik chiddush. If he stole a bed, he stole a mattress, and he sits on it, it does not acquire a tumah of avatuma. Why? Because it says mishkavai. So we're trying to get to an answer here. We're trying to say, how come this carbon, it has to be your carbon, how come he can't bring a stolen carbon? You see, not like you, Rabbi. You see that the reason why you can't bring the carbon is because it's not yours. So wait a minute. I'll prove to you that you're wrong, says Rabbi. Why? Because when it comes to mattress, mishkav v'lo gazel. Hey chidami. Oh, what is it talking about? Eli the gazel amro v'avdei mishkav. He stole the wool and he made a mattress out of it. From all the Amoraim that we just spoke about, the R Amoraim that argue, but from the Amoraim that we had until now, everybody agrees that if you take wool and you make it into a bed, you change. Take wool and make it into clothing. We said you don't have to give back the clothing. Why? Because shinu kaina, the change makes you the owner over here. So Memela, everybody agrees that if you made a shinu over here, it's yours. It doesn't mean that you stole wool. It means that you literally stole somebody's mattress. And you stole somebody's mattress, it doesn't become tummy. Oh, so if you already agree that if you stole somebody's mattress, it doesn't become tummy. We're talking about that you went ahead and you stole a carbon already. Not that you stole somebody's animal, you made it into a carbon. You stole your friend's carbon. Your friend designated an oila. You go ahead and you grab that oila from your friend and you bring it on the mizbeach. Even your friend wasn't yaitza. Why? Because it says karbanai. When you bring the carbon, it has to be yours. You brought your friends, even your friend wasn't yaitza. That's the pshat. Mela, it's not a kasha on me, Rabba, and you can't prove from here that you shloi kaina. There's a different reason. You can't bring your friend's stuff. Mishkavai, you can't bring his mattress. The mattress doesn't count. His carbon doesn't count. Okay. Rav Yosef. Abaya just asked a question to Rabba. Now he's asking a question on Rav Yosef. Now, by the way, we're going to see in a second, Rabba and Rav Yosef were contemporaries. Rabba was a Reshiva for 22 years. Then Rav Yosef was a Reshiva for 2.5 years. We'll see soon. So, Abaya asked Rav Yosef. Rav Yosef says, Yush loy koina. Yush doesn't work. It says, it goes like this. If you're fashioning a leather, any kli, any vessel in the world, becomes a vessel when the person creating the vessel decides, oh, I'm done. Here it is. It's already a nice plate. It's a plate. Oh, then it's makabel tumah. When it comes to leather, So it depends who the one fashioning this vessel is. If it's just a regular guy, he's not going to sell it off. He's making it for himself. So in his mind, he could decide that it's a kli. Once he decides in his mind that he's done, then it starts being mikabel tumah. It's a regular kli. It accepts tumah. Otherwise, it's a piece of leather that's not mikabel tumah. But if he's a tanner, he's a guy that for parnasa, he makes leather kelim. So just because he decided I'm done, it doesn't become tummy. Why? Because in a moment from now, somebody might show up and buy the leather to make it a pair of shoes, and then he has to refashion. He has to continue working it. And it's still not done. So maybe you, the guy that sells leathers, you don't have the right to decide that right now it's a kli. Shilganov, and this is what's important to us. Shilganov machshavim etamasan. If a person is a thief, it becomes the ganavs. What? Becomes the ganavs, and therefore the ganav in his brain could decide that it's a kli and it becomes tameh. So if I stop right over here, what do I see? That Yiyush is koina. How did it become the ganavs? It became the ganav because the guy gave up on it. Shel gazlan, but there's a difference. If the guy came at night, I don't know who he is, so now azmiyayish, I gave up. Shel gazlan, but if the guy came during the day, then I didn't give up. Why didn't I give up? Because I know who the guy is. I don't know if I should say my famous Maisa, the Maisa. You guys heard it 10 times, but the new guys didn't hear it. Actually, this one could not go in your book either. When I learned in Passaic, I was in Port Authority on Motzei Shabbos. I went to Passaic. And a guy saw that I was buying a ticket, and I had a lot of money, for a lot of money. For me, it was a lot of money, a couple $100. My parents gave me money to give to the people in yeshiva. For Purim, whatever. So he saw that I took out all this money from my pocket. So he starts following me. Now, for some reason, I had no fear in those days. I'm sugar. I didn't know guns, knives. This didn't. I looked at him. He was smaller than me. I said, if he dares start up with me, I'm going to take him. We were in a very dark, nobody was there. It was this escalator with 72 stairs. And it wasn't working. I should have realized if it's not working, it's probably not a good idea to be. Probably no buses there. I didn't realize that after 12 o'clock, there's no buses there. They went from somewhere else. Anyway, I start going up these stairs, and then in the middle he says, "Give me your money." Like, are you crazy? He says, "Give me your money." So I decide, okay, the best thing now is to punch him in the face. I start punching, garnished. He like a block. He just goes to my pocket, pulls out my money from my pocket, rips my pants, and takes my money from my pocket. So I thought I got him good, punch in the face, nothing, garnished. He starts running down the escalator, and then he turns around, and during this whole thing, my tefillin fell down a few of the stairs. So he starts coming back up to get the tefillin. So basically, I lost it because he's going to steal my tefillin. Well, no way. So I held on to the two sides, and I gave him a good kick, and he went flying backwards. He couldn't catch on to it. Everything was stainless steel. And he starts going down the steps. Each step, he hits his head. He's screaming, boom, boom, boom. He gets to the bottom. I thought, oy vey, I just killed somebody. Garnished. He gets up and runs away. So now I'm stuck because I can't get on a bus. I don't have money. I don't have my bus ticket. I don't have anything. So I can't get home. So I go. There's a police station in Port Authority in Manhattan. I go to a police station and I file a report. I said, this and this guy, he looked like this. He's wearing this cap, this, the whole thing. And they gave me a special piece of paper that says, you're allowed to go on the bus for free. And I asked the cop over there, I said, how's it possible? The guy just fell down the entire escalator and he hit his head and then just got up and ran away. He says, it's called drugs. Like, okay. So he didn't feel a thing, he said. The guard, he made me feel bad. He punched him and hit him and it fell down, nothing. Anyways, every time that somebody from Passaic would go to Port Authority, like go to Manhattan, I said, can I get a ride with you? Why? I needed to find this guy. And eventually, after a few weeks, I found the guy. And he was arrested, and he fit the description exactly like I did. And everybody from the guys from Passaic went to court with me. There was a whole, we had to do it in front of not a jury, a what? Not a lineup. There's 20-something people that listened to my story, and they convicted him. It was like a jury. I don't know why, on a theft. They put him in, and to make a long, one day in Passaic, I get a phone call on the public phone. Eli, I have a phone call. So I go to the public phone those days, remember? Yeah. Hi, this is from the, we're calling from the, whatever, the DA office. Do you want your money back? That was the question he asked me. I'm like, yeah? Oh, okay, great. You should just know he's still in jail. And he hangs up. Fine, I never got my money back. And my point of the story is that if you see the guy's face, you might not want to give up. You might go after him until you can find him. That's one svara. Rav Shimon Oimer, Chiluf Advarim. Rav Shimon says the exact opposite. Shel Gazlo Machshavim Tamasan. You know this ma'aseh? I told you. This is an original. This is the.
Never heard it.
In Passaic, they used to call me Rockport.
I never
Said one when he got beat up.
Said and shit.
I never heard this one. I heard one Port Authority.
That's the Port Authority one.
I never heard this one. I never heard where a guy when you lost. That I didn't know.
I lose. No, he's in jail. Why did I lose?
This is what I didn't hear.
By the way, I even said when you go in those days, I don't know about today. They paid me $5.73 for coming to the jury because it says like to buy a sandwich is for the Subway was $1.50 for both ways. They pay you $1.50 plus for a sandwich. Kids, they gave me $5.50 to come to the jury. Remember those days? Anyway. Says the Gemara, yeah, it was mamish word. The bottom line, Rabbi said that there's Yush over here. You see the Yush. Why? He says, Shel Gazlan machshav mitamasan. When a guy comes in your face and he has no fear, you're going to give up right away. He's a guy ra'alima. So you're miyayish. So therefore, when you have a thought that it's tameh, it's tameh. Shel Ganav machshav mitamasan. But a guy who comes at night, you don't give up. Why? Maybe you'll go to the video camera, maybe you'll ask people, do you see somebody walking here at night? But I'll go upon him, what's the bottom line? Over here, you see the idea that just giving up, it becomes the ganavs. We're talking about by the ganav, kigoin shekitzon. Oh, shekitzon is this, right over here. It means, Yoshi did a great job here. You see this leather, it's all it has a lot of rough edges. He took a knife and cut it nicely. So that is a shinoi masa. Together with the yush, it works. So let me ask you something. What I need yush? I did a shinoi masa. So if you look in Taisus here, there's an interesting Taisus. Taisus did Ramaska in Shekitzon. Umaril ima yush. You need two. But by itself not. Dilav shinoi maisahu. What Taisus I think it means over here, he says it's not a shinoi. In other words, it is and it isn't. It's a very, very minor shinui to cut the edges. So that doesn't work on its own, and yush doesn't work on its own. Yush together with that, both of them together, they work in this case. So he asks, but what about, we're talking about a tray. You see this piece of leather? There's nothing to it. Oh, it's a tray. Maybe I got a picture that's a little fancier than what they had in the time of the Gemara. As the edges are nice. A flat tray that they used to eat, like a TV dinner kind of tray. You know what I mean? Like in those days, they used to have small tables. Each person had their individual tray. And you're talking about a little tray like that. You don't need to take off the rough edges. This nan. If you don't have to take off the edges, then just thinking that it's a kli, it's enough. If you need to do something, then it's not done yet, so machshav doesn't work. So Mela, why do you need a shinui maisa? Why do I need to cut the edges? I don't need to cut the edges. Yush enough. Yush should be enough in this case. The 22 years the Rabbah was the Rosh Hashiva, right? The famous maisa that Rav Yosef was the Sinai. Rav Yosef was the one that had tremendous knowledge in all of Torah. Rabbah was the Kishrin, the Ilui, the sharp one. He was the Oiker Harim. So when they asked Rav Yosef to be the Rosh Hashiva, and Rav Yosef spoke to the stargazers, and they told him, you're only going to last for 2 years. After 2 years, you're going to go to the next world. So he said, now, I don't want to be a Rosh Hashiva now. Let Rabbah be the Rosh Hashiva. So he gained 20 years. 22 years, Rabbah was the Rosh Hashiva. And then he had no choice. He had to be the Rosh Hashiva, and then he was Nifter. He got an extra half a year. He was 2.5 years later. So the Gemara says he had this problem. What do I do here? Why do I need Yush together with this Shini Maisa? I have to change it. I have to change the way it is. Says the Gemara, 22 years they didn't have an answer. Ad Yosef Rav Yosef Bereisha Uparka. So, Chesed Hashem, I saw this Likutei Rashi. I love it. Mamish last night, right before I came to Shir. He says that the Olam they weren't impressed with the Rav Yosef. Kiyas guy. He knew all the Torah. He wasn't sharp like Rabbah. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave him tremendous siyat and shemaya. That there was a question that they didn't know for 22 years. They didn't know the answer. Here he comes. First day as a Rashiva, whatever it is. Boom. He showed them that he knows what he's talking about. 2 questions like that, and he was able to show the Olam. It was a siyata d'shmaya, a special gift from Hashem. Ad Yosef, Rav Yosef Bereishu Bargain, they said, oh, okay, he's not bad. He's a pretty good Rashiva. Shini Hashem, kishini maisidami. That by changing the name is like changing is literally like changing the actual chayfetz. That what? In other words, the Ganav over here was koined not with Shinui, not with Yush. You're asking me Yush. See, Yush, koined, not koined. Over here, no, you're right. The Ganav wasn't koined with Yush. The way the Ganav was koined this was by changing the name. Shinu Maisa, my time, why does Shinu Maisa work? Because when I change a piece of wood, I fashion it into a table. It's called a table now. Until now, they call this thing leather. And now they just change it, name change into a table. So when you change something's name, that's how you're koine. Not because of Yush, Rav Yosef, but I was koine because of the Shina Hashem. Rabbi Isai, have a wonderful day. Shir la malois, soinai elorim, ayobo Yisri. Ezri mimadino yisei shumayim bores. Aiten la vayrak lecha inum shemrecha. Inei lo yodom lo yishon shemay Yisrael. Adino shemrecha adino yitzilcha yad minecha. Yom Hashem shlo yakego b'yoreach b'aloylo. Adino yishmocha mikoro yishmor es nafshecha. Adino yishmor zechus v'yecha me'ato v'yado yilo. Achaynu kol Beis Yisrael nesu mitzvah v'shivyon Yosef ogim rachman leim sim mitzvah levoch ma'afel le'or b'shma gilot l'geula ashto v'agolo b'zman korev l'imar amen.